And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We are not watching Stephen F. Austin. Look, we try to tackle this in good faith. If the Cowboys had an undrafted character that went to the University of Alabama, we would have found a way to get it done for y'all. But Eastern Kentucky and Stephen F. Austin was a little too college football film Illuminati.
Too ambitious? Was a little too ambitious?
A little too ambitious. So y'all know about 6 out of the 9 undrafted free agents. And look, this is the best part. If they do anything in camp, we'll tell y'all about it. We'll tell you all about if they do something in camp.
That's good. I was kind of hoping. I was struggling a little bit there myself. I was like going, "Oh, Voch, please save me here, Voch."
Brian, we gonna take that roster, and Bruce Harmon's gonna have an ugly number like 47, and the minute 47 makes a play, we're gonna go, "Hey, this Bruce Harmon kid made a play in practice today," but I ain't gonna have nothing to say about where he played in college, Brian. I ain't got time. You doing all right, Brian?
Oh. Yes, sir. I'm good. I'm good with you. But tonight
we got some questions.
We got on tap. Got questions. And then we're trying to make up, right? Yeah. Trying to help our fan base here. Trying to help our fan base.
They understand who we are. Yeah. First of all, Brian, Bryan Broaddus texted me a couple days ago.
Oh no.
Because me and him cool, like behind your back.
No, I swear he'll ask for money. Watch out. He'll ask for money.
Don't do that. I ain't got no money for him. I ain't got no money. But Bryan Broaddus asked me about the watch that I was wearing a couple shows ago. So now I got to make sure I pull out all my nice watches when me and Bryan Broaddus having a conversation.
Yeah.
So that you can drop about 400 on that Seiko for your boy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Bennett is a big fan of your work. Big fan. And he's super excited that you and I have a future together. And so, yeah, it's he will always like, Dad, man, your show. And but he'll be a little critical too. He's like, Voch made a good point there, Dad. You really didn't let him make his point. Dad. I'm like, you're right, son. You're right. You're right. So yeah, you got a big fan down there at the McCombs Business School at the University of Texas. He's a one of the kind guy for sure.
Hey man, do my tax. I got some money for you, Brian.
Yes, sir.
Man, Brian, I just reached out to the people, man. They had some good stuff today, Brian. Boy, they had some things that maybe we touched on but didn't elaborate on. You know what I mean? I love when the people could do that. The first question, Brian, from Jose Pablo Ibarra Perez.
Whoa,
you got all the names.
Got all the names.
Jose Pablo Ibarra Perez. He says, basically, Brian, who you think's gonna be? What's the cornerback configuration gonna be going into week 1 of the season? Who do you think's gonna win that? Because we don't know who's gonna be healthy for real. We don't know who's gonna be on pup. We don't know who's playing nickel. We don't know who's playing outside. We don't know what Israel's gonna do. Brian, who's the big 3 at cornerback, and what's the where you got them laid out? How do you have them configured?
Do you have a thought on this one just initially? I kind of have Elam in the mix here, maybe opening day. Bland. I know the thing in talking with people on the team about Ravel that they're off to a good start. And we've seen some stuff. I've seen some posts with Diggs not working with the Cowboy trainers, with Britt Brown and those guys, but working with another guy, another doctor, and doing some drills with bands and weights and stuff like that. So we'll see how that all plays out. Don't expect him, but Ravel, they were excited about. Bland, we'll see what happens with Elam. We'll see what happens with Izzy. We'll see what happens with Carson. I'm probably going to say this a lot tonight because you picked all the questions, but that's a good question. And, it's one of those things where, well, do you feel really good about this group, or do you feel really good about this group, or does this group right here worries me? I'm kind of thinking left tackle and cornerback spot right now. There's a couple of places that I'm a little bit, okay, try and walk me through how this is going to be. Please walk me through it. So, my hunch just off the jump would be that Elam's probably going to be involved. We know that Bland's going to be involved. We'll see what happens, like I say, with Carson, Izzy, and then also with Ravel.
I think
And
they're gonna run the healthy veterans out there, Brian. That's just how I feel.
For the start, yeah. I'm trying to be hopeful that in training camp that we see, we kind of get an idea. I don't think you're going to get an idea during the OTAs. You'll see who they initially think, and then it will be kind of a mix. But when you and I get out to Oxnard, California, it will be probably like, oh, okay, I see, what's going on here. But man, I was encouraged by what I heard about with Ravel.
Yeah,
that encouraged me because, man, the quicker that he can get up, get ready, get to speed, and and don't let training camp get away from him. It seems like when these corners or wide receivers don't practice, it camp gets away from them, and then it's hard to kind of make up that ground. I want to believe that Carson's going to have a better year. In my heart, I want to believe that, but it's something we have to see. I can't. This time last year, if you and I were doing a show, I would have been, damn, Voch, remember how much we really liked Carson? That Wake Forest film, man, remember him covering, remember him doing, it was all, that. But boy, I tell you what, right now, he's kind of like you're praying that he had a good off season and he physically, confidence, all these things, new coach. Maybe all these things will help him a little bit. We'll see.
I always thought that Revel was going to be like a future pick. I didn't think he was going to be day one guy. Like,
no.
and even if he helps you out in like week 12 or something, that's cool.
Yeah.
I just never thought of him to be a day one guy. So I think it's going to be Elam Bland and some combination of Carson and Israel.
Yeah. I just kind of got the vibe and the thought that this is going to be a good match. And I was talking with some, people around the league about the player, and they're like, man, he went to the right spot. Like I keep talking about Britt Brown. I've known Britt Brown since 1999. I mean, he is one of the best rehab guys in the league, and he can get guys back. And if they're willing to work, he will go tooth and nail with them the whole time. So that to me, and I just get an early indication it's been very, very positive.
Man, Brian, a couple of days ago, you boldly pointed out how people in the comments were fighting me about that future Pickens money.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't really get a chance to hear you evaluate or hear you elaborate on what you were saying. Because, Brian, if it's up to me, I'm making sure I sign Big Tyler Smith.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If Pickens goes crazy and he's not a bad locker room guy, I got faith in 24-year-old Pickens. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm signing that dude.
Yeah.
I let a lot of these other cats walk. So Stephen Karp said, Brian, man, Stephen Karp says, you think they'd extend Pickens over Bland and Ferguson? I just wouldn't be shocked if they let Ferg walk. Brian,
yeah.
I think if Ferg is in the conversation amongst names like Tyler Smith and Deron Bland and George Pickens, I don't think Jake Ferguson has a chance in that conversation.
No, I agree with you. I think I think Ferguson needs to play a lot better.
Yeah.
And, was injuries a factor? Was a concussion a factor? Did that rob him of some of his playing ability last season? We saw it wasn't the same guy. But I think there's something that we're starting to really learn. And I did a story today at Krusty's Corner on 105.3 The Fan about what we're learning about team building. And team building, and this is according to Pro Football Focus, whether you like them or not, we're talking about you cannot have enough offensive weapons.
For sure.
You can't. You can't be the Jets, the Titans, the Steelers, just one wide. You can't be that.
Cowboys, yeah.
You can't be that. You have to be the more weapons you have at receiver, the better chance you have of having offensive success. Yeah. And we're starting to see more teams commit to that. Commit to, look at what teams and I say offensive weapons, but look at some teams that what they've done, like doubling up on draft picks. The Browns are a great example. Browns took Junkins and Sampson. Took 2 running backs. So the offensive weapons, but what we're starting to see on the outside, can't have enough pass catchers. That's becoming very, very clear that some of these teams are like, sure, we'll have a 1 and then a 1A is what we're going to have. Yeah. And if Pickens, in fact, and I'll say this, I think if you listen to the audio of Pickens talk, I think David Mulugeta told him, like, listen, my friend, if we're going to get a big contract, you're going to have to play well, which he's more than capable of doing. But you're also going to have to talk about culture and being a teammate and those things. Because even if he plays great but is a problem, is somebody going to be willing to do that?
Actually, Bryan, if you don't mind, just 10 seconds here.
I'm grateful like I said, I'm grateful to be here, and I'm grateful to play with Dak. As far as like roles and stuff like that, I'm just here to work. Whatever role finds me best is where I'm gonna find myself. Yeah, that was one of the first guys that I definitely contacted with was Dak. He just, just watching his game over the years, he's a very prolific QB and smart QB at that. So I'm just glad to be working with him.
Voch Lombardi found a little bit of audio on George Pickens, though. That's why I got it. But to your point,
the Illuminati guy.
I don't worry about it. But to your point, he sounds like a guy. And look, I don't know him, but I was expecting him to sound like the damn boogeyman, the way the Pittsburgh Steelers, fans talking about him or whatever. But he sounds like a dude that, hey, man, even if it's only for this conversation, hey, I'm fine. Yeah. We're good to go. I'm media trained. Please go ahead.
Yeah. It's important because you can't be a great player and then a problem. You can't. I mean, it's just people will put up with stuff. But I think when you look at this player, it's really going to be important for him. And the fact that David Mulugeta represents him and then also has Micah Parsons. David knows what's being said about culture and leadership and all that through Micah. And he's hearing all that. The really smart agents know, okay, this is the background. This is what's going on. And so you coach your guy to say, hey, listen, we have to come off now as a team player. We can't come off as a jackass. Yeah. We have to come off. Now, we might get in the season in week 4. It might be going terribly bad, and all of a sudden he loses it, But he has a lot on the line here too, because reputation is nobody wanted to trade for this guy. Nobody wanted him, And when teams started, when they were asking around, teams were like, huh, "You kidding? Trade for that? No, That's this guy's reputation, and whether it's right or wrong, that's the reputation he has around the league." So I think you're going to get his absolute best ability as a player. I think you're also going to get his absolute best of trying to maintain a level of calmness in how he plays, even though he is an emotional player. Yeah. I mean, you see it, how the game's going by the way he plays. But I think his agent got to him and said, hey, you've got to find a way to put your best foot forward here and do the best you can.
Bryan, one of our tweeters, Shelby says, "No, I don't have a question, but I just want y'all to know how much I absolutely love y'all. I just love your personality, Voch. You're hilarious." That is true. You're hilarious. You were great on the draft show and will be such an asset to the break. Well, thank you, Shelby. And she said some things about Bryan, but I mean, it's all good. I'm a friend of Bryan's. I'm so excited for y'all's plans. Thank you so much for saying nice things about Just Voch there, Shelby. But Shelby's very excited about our plans, Bryan Broaddus. You know what I'm saying? I just want to throw that in there for that.
Yeah, people are getting tired of me talking about our plans, but I promise me, these things take time. But I've got things in order. I swear, we're gonna have an announcement. I think everybody is really going to enjoy here very soon. Again, I've got to put pen to paper on some things, but that's what we're working on right now, and hopefully that'll be coming here in the next few days. Bear with me on that one, please. It just takes time to do some things we're talking about. Anyway, Shelby's a wonderful person, a wonderful friend. Knows her football backwards and forwards. I've always enjoyed my conversations with her. That's one of the great things. There's some great things about Twitter and this fan base and who you can interact with and all that. And Shelby's out there in West Texas, and I always enjoy bouncing stuff off her because she's really good at like understanding. Like she listens to all the shows, and so she has a really neat take on what works and what doesn't work. So thank you, Shelby. I appreciate that.
Bryan, I actually found out that, some of these networks, they give their talent like a wardrobe budget.
Yeah.
I know we got plans and all that. You know what I'm saying?
You're asking me for a wardrobe budget already, huh?
I just asked a question. Like, dude, like, is that a part of the plans? Is that a part of y'all's thing that's going on over there?
You never know.
Hey, man.
You never know who you get people on board with you. You never know. You never know those things.
Well, I saw some damn black suede tassel loafers that got my name on it, boy. I just hope.
Man, we do radio. They don't see your feet.
On the show, they about to see my damn feet. They about to see us sitting at this desk. I'm about to put my damn feet up, show them shoes out if I get them. Yeah. In Oxnard, them boys fans at Kobe says.
Them boys, yeah.
In Oxnard, Bryan, let's say hypothetically, Mazy just go out there and start beating the hell out of everybody. Would you be proud of Mazy, or would you be alarmed that our interior offensive line getting whooped by Mazy? I know the answer. I just kind of want to hear your response to it.
I'd be proud of Mazy.
Yeah, you got to.
I'd be real proud of Mazy because I think it's going to be a tough battle with BB. I think BB is going to take a big jump. I think he's going to, when it's all said and done, people are going to talk about him as one of the better centers in the National Football League.
For sure.
And Tyler Smith, they're already talking about him as one of the better guards in the National Football League. And Booker is a full-grown man that will drive you into next week if you don't play good technique. And if you don't play with power and you don't sit down, he will drive you over where you and I are standing over there watching practice. Yeah. So if Mazy were to come out, play with balance, play with power, play up the field, play better with his hands, and he's beating these guards and centers that the Cowboys are throwing out there, I'd be proud of him. Absolutely, because he's capable of playing that way. He just doesn't always do it. And it's a shame that we're going to have to get into 3 years of this, right? Yep. We're in the third year of this. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, he's going to have to, I wish from the jump he would have been that guy. Hadn't been that way. Got better last year. In some games he wasn't as good as he needed to be. But if you tell me that immediately coming out of Oxnard that he's dealing with these three inside guys, I'd be ecstatic to say that, wow, Mazy had a good practice today.
Will Steele asked me on his show this morning. Shouts out to Will Steele.
Love Will Steele
to pieces. He says, Tyler Guyton and Mazy, right? If you had to choose one of those dudes to become like a Pro Bowl level guy and the other one to be just a regular dude, which one would you? Do you want Tyler Guyton to be a Pro Bowler and Mazy be a regular guy, or would you want Mazy to be a Pro Bowler and Tyler Guyton just be a regular guy? And my answer was, why you think about this, Bryan? My answer was, I think you need Mazy to be real good, real bad. Real bad. If you can get Mazy to be real good, I think you solve a lot of problems on that damn defense. I know left tackle is easily remedied by quarterback's ability and getting rid of the ball. You can throw help over there. I just have, and honestly, if Tyler Guyton ends up being just a good, regular, cool player, I can live with that. That's actually on my bingo card. I hope that Tyler Guyton becomes just a cool, good player. I need Mazy to be real good, Bryan Broaddus. If Mazy real good, we could talk about something for real, for real.
I'm the opposite.
Damn. Okay.
I'm the opposite.
Comments, please. Tell us what you think. Go ahead, Bryan.
Give me the dominant left tackle. Give me the dominant left tackle, because if you give me a dominant left tackle and a dominant left guard, a center playing at a high level, man, I could do a lot of things.
For sure.
My number one concern right now going into training camp is the left tackle. But if you told me that he could play at a Pro Bowl level, boy, that would
look. I know I picked Mazy, but I'm O-line guy too. That'll be ridiculous.
No.
Yeah.
But the thing about, we've seen what dominant defensive tackles can do, though, too.
For sure.
Damn, we've seen what dominant defensive tackles can do. We play in a division that has a bunch of them. We watched that guy at Kansas City, and we've watched guys. I know some folks in the comments were like, hey, Broaddus, Voch, back in the day, Warren Sapp was that guy. You guys forgot about Warren Sapp. Okay, I'm not forgetting about Warren Sapp. You know, a dominant 3 or a dominant 1. Whew.
Basically, do you want Jalen Carter or Lane Johnson?
Well, yeah, Lane Johnson's a right tackle, so
yeah, you know, just put him on.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Hell, Jordan Mailata is pretty damn good. Yeah. I'm gonna take the right tackle. I just kind of feel like that Mazy at the 1. If Mazy at the 1 can be good and consistent, I don't need him to be a Pro Bowl guy. But maybe for this offense to be really good, Dak Prescott, I don't know what Dak Prescott's mobility is going to be like. I don't know if I can. Steele is a little bit of a kind of Steele is. I think Steele got a new breath of life with getting rid of Mike Solari. I think he got a new breath of life. Maybe he's thinking Steele is not the most. He's not the strongest guy, but if you give me Pro Bowl, potential Pro Bowl, I'll live with my right tackle being good. I just daydream and my one technique just being good and not being a Pro Bowl guy.
I just daydreamed about Quentin Williams next to Oso Digizua next to Michael Parsons. Come on, Bryan. All right. Bryan Broaddus, man, I think this is interesting since we talking about your left tackle here.
Yeah.
Derek says.
By the way, that's a damn good. Will Steele came up with that question?
Somebody came up with the question and asked it on Will's mailbag.
Jeez, that's a great question. Whoever the fan was. I'm gonna have to steal that one for
please take
105.3 The Fan. Yeah,
that was a good one. That was a good one. On the topic of Tyler Guyton, Derek asked. I'm gonna set up the little context, to Bryan Broaddus. You know, most of the time, first round picks are like protected almost. You know what I mean? They're this protected class.
Yeah.
Chuma Edoga just flat out took that man's job last year.
He did.
And they didn't bring Chuma Edoga back. They just let you know how this organization rock. But Bryan, Derek basically in so many words asked, Guyton got his job taken. He's supposed to be this protected citizen, right? Do you think they'll give Austin Richards a fair fight for left tackle with Tyler Guyton?
Yes, I do. Honestly do. I do. And this is where it's interesting because I thought that if you drafted, say, Simmons and played him at left tackle and then switched Guyton over and let him compete with Steele on the right side, I thought that Austin Richards could compete for the right guard spot.
Yeah,
with Hoffman and those guys. I think we're kind of forgetting about Austin Richards right now. Now, poor guy's dealing with his third line coach, I believe.
Sure.
think I'm right about that. I think he's doing his third line coach now.
Philbin, Solari, Riley Adams. Yep.
Riley Adams. Yeah. So to me, I am kind of feeling like that he's going to get a fair shot at I think your protected citizen statement. I like what you're saying. I think there's going to be a legitimate competition at left tackle. Yes.
Like if Guyton is Guyton, but what if Austin Richards at left tackle go out there and start beating the hell out of Sam and he's stoning Donovan at the line of scrimmage and all this kind of stuff, and he have a good day versus Micah, just a day, not nothing crazy, just a good day like Guyton had. I think it all make for some good mess in Cowboy Nation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. Let's go, Awesome. Make him go out there and fight for his life.
There's a lot of people in that building on the scouting side that really like Awesome Richards, and think, I remember when he was drafted and watching him at North Carolina. I'm sure you do remember the same.
Yes, sir.
Watch that it was like, hallelujah. They didn't draft a player from Directional College Division III. Mm-hmm. They went and got a real. You could watch him play against Notre Dame and Syracuse and Miami and Florida State.
Yeah,
and block real pass rushers.
Yeah, man, bro. I mean, look, I know that the Eastern Kentucky and the damn kid from Stephen F. Austin gave us some fits, Brian.
Mm-hmm.
I understand, but Brother Mason says, do any of the undrafted free agents make the 53? And if so, which one or two of them do?
Yeah. Could be we've kind of talked about the tight end from we talked about the tight end
Fairweather from Auburn.
Yeah, we talked about him from Auburn.
Yeah.
And I'm pulling up my my notes on these guys and stuff like that because I want to exactly get this right. I know that people have a lot of thoughts about Holden.
Sure.
From Oregon. I think Holden's kind of a guy that we'll see how it all plays out for him, but he does have the sponsor of his former, he does have his former wide receivers coach now as his wide receiver coach. So maybe that'll make some things comfortable for him. I'm going to say that's a practice squad. I'm going to say that Fairweather, you and I have had this discussion. He's probably battling our guy, John Stevens, for that position. We'll see. Clark, the safety that he plays like as a true free safety. Could that be the guy that maybe they say, hey, Donovan Wilson, goodbye. This guy's better range. He has better cover ability. He's got a little pop to him in the way he plays.
Yeah.
The nickel he could play in the slot if he has to. I don't know if he'd want to do it a whole lot, but that's a possibility. Joshua Kelly, we talked about, the wide receiver from Texas Tech.
Yeah.
He has got really good hands. And he's probably a little bit more about the foot quickness than he is about speed.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to maybe hurt him a little bit. We'll see how that plays. Justin Barron, we talked about from Syracuse, the linebacker, wide receiver, defensive back, and then now a linebacker.
Yeah.
I think this was a
teams guy.
I think this is a teams guy all the way. I think that Nick Sorensen, the special teams coach, I think this was one of his picks. I mean, not a pick, but I think, hey, coach, evaluate all the guys on that board who have special teams value. And I bet you Justin Barron was the guy that had the highest marks for special teams work. We kind of mentioned about Zion Childress and what he potentially could bring. Little bit more of a, he's got not the great length, but guy's made a ton of starts, plays well with his eyes, quick to read. There might be a free safety depending on him and him and our Syracuse guy, Clark, could one make it and one be on the practice squad, or would both be on the practice squad. I think the safety position, to be honest with you, is up for some. I think the incumbents might be in some trouble, and I'm not really talking about with Bell and Thomas. I think those guys I think the guys who are the starters might be in some trouble here.
Do you think that the new administration is really going to let that happen? Because I just knew Zimmer was going to look at Donovan and be like, "Hey man, this dude doesn't fit me." But Donovan just ended up.
I'll never forget out there at the Rudder Room. You know, where if you've listened to us talk about where we go at night and sit on the beach and smoke a cigar and talk about the great things that happened in practice that day. A lot of conversations. And one of the times Mike Zimmer and some of the coaches were enjoying a beer out there, and we had the opportunity to sit down and just kind of questions and answers thing. And Zim was very honest about, he thought a lot about Wilson, and he thought a lot about Hooker. And I, the way he was talking, I wanted to like, damn, Zim, you and I go way back. I wanted to like fight him, but yeah. He had an idea for the players. I think if we went back to the Rudder Room and had that same cigar and sat there and talked about it, he would probably say, man, I made a mistake there. Probably should have thought about playing Bell or playing Thomas a little bit more in that group, yeah. Or maybe moved Izzy back there, sure. You know, for that stuff. But he was very much and I say dug in, but he was very confident that those two starting safeties were going to be what he needed. I don't know if this group is going to feel the same way that Zim and Al Harris and those guys felt last year.
Got to make sure I bring my cigars to the Rudder Room.
Oh man, the Rudder Room is great.
I've been as a lowly YouTube guy. I have, I'm friends with Jane Slater now. I'm friends with you and all these. So maybe my experience at the Rudder Room be a little different than the old days.
Oh man, it's the cool thing about the Rudder Room is literally at night you put on a hoodie and a ball cap and you're sitting on a lawn chair out on the beach, smoking a cigar and talking about what went on in practice that day. Yeah. It's a great way for everybody to throw some ideas out there and kind of, it's a tremendous place to go and just kind of hang out. And sometimes the fans come out there and hang out with us, and they're welcome to, be a part of this. So it's a really, really cool event when you can go to, probably go there every night. Yeah. just sit around and talk ball. It's just a great place to sit around and talk ball.
Yeah. Shouts out to our guy Chase. He's always inviting us to the Rudder Room, but I mean, I don't go to I don't just
you'll
go
you'll like the Rudder Room. You'll like it, yeah.
Brian, appreciate you for answering questions, sir. Appreciate y'all for
thank you, man. Appreciate you. Good questions. Really, really good questions.
Appreciate y'all for asking them and putting pressure on the Bryan Broaddus administration for that clothing budget. You know what I'm saying? That'll be really exciting. I think it'll be cool if we all just, got some outfits for the show, Brian. I think that'll be fly, man.
I'll work on a lot of things for you, my friend. I'll work on a lot of things.
You got to have somebody in your corner like Bryan Broaddus there, ladies and gentlemen. VOCHLONBARDIBRYN Broaddus. We going to chill for the weekend, get some rest, and we'll come back and talk about George Pickens some more on Monday because that's what y'all like to hear. But we'll have something to talk about. Y'all just hang tight. We'll go back to having a little guesty-westy on these Tuesdays. And
get some people in mind that said they'll now come on and do some stuff with us. So should have some fun.
That's hard. And we'll keep serving y'all up this content. All right, y'all hold it down until next time. We love y'all to pieces. Crown.